That's it. That's my introduction. Hey,
Cut. Show's over. Perfect.
good morning, everyone. It is, it is. It is, today is the 4th of August. I'm going to go by what Tim was doing the other day. So it was the 31st, then it was the 1st. So it's going to be the 2nd of November. And I don't know what day that falls on, but it's the 2nd of November right now. So keep that in mind as we go forward. Like Tim says, your year is done. You're toast. So get working to get those things on the tables by
November
November
2nd.
2nd. Yeah. Good morning, Jason. What's going on?
Not much. Living the dream up here at the lake.
Yeah. Is that the dream? Really? Is that the dream?
It really is. Driving around the lake every morning, it's like so peaceful, the
Mm-hmm.
first like 3 months. And then the last like 3 weeks, it's like, man, I want to be out there on a boat with everyone else.
Nice. Yeah, I don't get up there enough. We're coming up in a couple of weeks, right? Oh, I don't know, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Melissa Lesniak is doing the home tours today, right? Today is it today?
That was
What she's on?
yesterday.
That was yesterday. Oh, okay. 'Cause I saw the pictures on Facebook, and I was like, "Holy cow! They're at it. They're going for it. They're out there zippity doing around. That's awesome." So we are here live, and we are going to be talking today about a few things. We got a few things on the docket today. I'm going to start off with something I made sure somebody asked me yesterday. Sue Doyle and Mariah asked me to talk about this, so I'm going to bring this up with Jason here. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up on the screen so everybody can see it. Jason, we're going to talk about the Backpack Drive 2021.
Awesome.
This is your home team, which is Michael, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So here is the flyer that was up on Facebook yesterday, but we're going to talk a little bit about this. I've never been involved with this. I wasn't here last year at that time. So what all is going on with this?
So Michael Whitney and his team for, I want to say over 10 years now, has done this backpack drive for obviously children that are in needs that can't go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Robert, we're a few years older than the kids today going back to school. When we
A
went
little
back,
bit.
when we went to school, like the teachers gave you pencils and paper and all that. Well, with budget cuts over the years, municipalities have been cutting that back. So parents are responsible for that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we understand that there's some need for some help in this situation. So Michael for years has done a backpack drive. So he has a sign up sheet in Portsmouth. It's really, really, really well laid out. And it used to be backpacks, pencils. And you would go in, you'd sign up what you're going to bring, and then you go to Walmart or, wherever, buy a backpack, stuff it with all the pads of paper and the pencils, and bring it in.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, they still let you do that. If you still want to go shop for backpacks, that's great. But this year, they've really narrowed it down to just getting gift cards. So
Mm-hmm.
going into getting a Visa gift card or a Target gift card or Walmart or whatever it is. He has them differently laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, he's actually added sneakers, like getting sneakers gift cards for like Famous Footwear and them sort of things. So
Oh, good.
just go to the Portsmouth office, sign
Mm-hmm.
up, grab what you want. I mean, I signed up for 4 gift cards the other day, $25 each, $100. Went down, bought them. They got a
Mm-hmm.
little beautiful glass curate box that you could drop the gift cards in.
Mm-hmm.
Sue Doyle and them will go shopping. We're going to help a bunch of kids, and this is the true culture of this company.
Yeah. This is that giving back that we're always talking about here. It also looks like on the bottom of the flyer here, I'm just going to bring that up one more time here so that if anybody missed it, at the bottom there it says gift cards, of course, helping out with everything there. Clothing, haircuts. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
rid of
yeah.
those
Supercuts, I
mop
think,
top
is on there too. Yeah.
haircuts. And you can also write a check to your home team and let them do the shopping. The important thing on this flyer to note is that there is a date needed by August 16. So that's something that's coming up. We're on August 4th right now. So August 16th is the date that they're trying to shoot for here. So get your gift cards into the office there. I think that's a great idea. My wife used to be part of the women's club, the Greenland Women's Club, I think it was, and they did a backpack drive, and they've done them for like 20 years, I guess. And we got involved in that, and it was a lot of fun because they actually at that time, this was years ago, so we were actually able to go buy stuff, and we had social lives. And we used to go out and buy the backpacks and just fill them up with all kinds of stuff. And sometimes we would stuff something in there that was, of a little bit of a higher value, or just something that was kind of like a treat, because the backpacks were all sealed up and we never knew who got any of these things. So it was kind of cool because we would be like, somebody's going to get, something really cool in their backpack, and a total surprise, So we just used to have fun with that and do that. So it's a lot of fun. It feels good to do it because you are helping. And like, you said a moment ago, Jason, back in the day, we used to provide our own supplies, and now the teachers are in many cases providing supplies, and this offsets that cost for them. And anything that we can do to to offset that cost, to improve the quality of the education for our kids, and just be a part of the community, I think it's an important thing that we can do here. So looks like Kaylee here says she was looking at the list yesterday. Gift cards for haircuts, the things we take for granted. Yep, how special for those children to be able to enjoy a new look before the start of the year. That's great, and I think it's awesome because a lot of these kids, if you think about it, with the stupid pandemic, a lot of people couldn't even get haircuts. I wonder how many of the kids are running around with mop tops and just going, know what, I really would like to get cleaned up before the school year begins. So.
I mean, you must love when you get out of the barber. You must feel mint. I know I do. That's
I know why you're doing this. I know exactly why you're doing this. So,
yeah. I noticed you two didn't let me on yesterday when I tried to join.
Hey, we knew exactly what we were going for there.
Oh, of course you guys did. I love you guys. That's the best part about this quick start. Not only is it information, it's a little bit of comic relief and picking on Jason, or now we're going to pick on Tim today.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because he's in jury duty. Can you see that?
Yeah. He told
his bow tie on.
Oh yeah. He told me that he was involved in the different rooms, and there was different selection processes and stuff like that. And he said that the chairs were literally the most uncomfortable chairs that any person could put in a room. That's what they had to sit on. And so, he's lost his cushy chair for a couple of days, and now he's sitting on, I don't know, like kindling or something like that. He said he brought his.
Can you imagine? I would love to be in the room when they start questioning, because Tim, like, he's got words for words, and when they question him, can you just imagine the answer that he gives?
Oh, he was telling. You know what? When he comes back. I'm going to make a little list of all his responses to the stuff. He was trying so hard to get out of it. He told me that one guy, this is great. He says one guy was in there, and every time somebody would ask him something, one of the lawyers or whatever, he would like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? And so the whole time Tim is like, darn, I should have thought of that one. And they excused the guy because he couldn't hear. I'm sorry, what was that? Yeah, I couldn't hear you. I'm totally going to pull that.
Oh, yeah.
Hashtag Tim's not talking this morning. So thank you, Kaylee. So, all right. So listen, getting back onto the track here of of actual things that we're going to be talking about. So first of all, today's a busy day. Today's Wednesday, the 2nd, as we know, and I'll go over the calendar really quick for just today, and that is the contract classes. So today at 9 a.m. is mass contract classes, Massachusetts classes, and I believe that is hosted by Alice, our resident expert for Massachusetts. And Alice is if you have any questions, Alice will do her absolute best to answer questions for you. So that is going to be on the kellertv.com, right?
Correct.
Okay, so 9 o'clock is Massachusetts contracts. That goes to 10. Sorry, goes 1 hour for 10. Then at 10 o'clock is the Maine contracts. Who's going to be doing the Maine today?
I think it's going to be Karen Hamilton.
Karen Hamilton. Okay, same thing, kellertv.com. Then at 11 o'clock this morning is New Hampshire contracts, and that is by
Jen Vashon today. Yeah, I did last week live, and Jen's doing today.
Awesome.
So obviously all morning long of contracts classes where you guys want to be, because the stuff we're running into now with deals, as far as me and Jen are seeing, is the contracts, right? And you guys, we're seeing a lot of compliance stuff about escrow releases being signed and by all parties, and just the little things. That's the area where you come, ask the questions of why we need to do this or why we need to do that, and Jen or I or Karen Hamilton or
Hmm.
Miss Alice Kubaki can definitely answer any questions that you guys may have on the concern of a contract and how to fill it out.
Okay, so I'm gonna say one more thing for today's this afternoon is the lab is open from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and that's at kwtechtv.com. But now I want to go back and I want to talk. You and I were talking about this before we came on this morning. A question that I have as someone who is not involved in real estate in terms of being an agent itself. One of the things that I always wonder about, and maybe you can help me out with this, is when an agent is dealing with a transaction. Now we know that when you're dealing with specific transactions, listings or buying, we have a certain set of required documents. Now that's easy because they're marked as required, and so you know that you're going to need to do those. But there's also a set of optional documents. And in the optional documents, one of the questions I always have is how do you know in each situation whether you need a particular optional document, and what are the qualifiers, and is there a checklist to go by or something to help me understand what optional documents would be required for certain transactions, and how do I find out?
So under the command section where it says optional, it should give you a little thing right next to the form. So it says optional, and then the form that it is, and then right next to it's a description. So if you're doing, for let's say, a condo, it's going to say condo rider, and then right next to it it says if listing a condominium. So all the forms that are in there that are optional, you're right, they're different for different stuff, whether it's a new construction or whether it's a condo. I know over time that the plan is to have these checklists. So we're going into a New Hampshire listing checklist, let's say, and that's where you're seeing it. You'll
Mm-hmm.
also notice that there's a New Hampshire new construction checklist.
Mm-hmm.
I know what the compliance team is trying to do, obviously with Jen and I, trying to put together different checklists for different types of transactions. So it'd be
Mm-hmm.
like a New Hampshire condo, it'd be a New Hampshire multifamily, a New Hampshire commercial. It takes a lot of time to get with the commercial people to find out the forms they need with Jen and Nate, and then the new construction one me and Jason Hool did a little while ago because we've seen a lot of that. We are trying to build these out. But if you're ever in a situation where you're doing a deal that you want to know if it's optional or not for right now, just you can reach out to me, Jen. A lot of times that Facebook group is really a great place to ask. Other agents can help you, but we
Mm-hmm.
are trying to build out checklists that are going to be more property specific, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that helps a lot, and the bottom line, I guess, is if you're not sure whether you need a document, the best thing to do is to check with
Yeah.
you or
Just
Jen,
raise your hand.
and yeah, just raise your hand and ask. I mean, I honestly do get a little bit confused when I look at them. I'm like, how do you know which one? But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, you really should check if you're not sure. And I'm going to also guess that if I don't submit something, and in my submission process, the compliance is going to go, don't forget this, because this is the transaction that you have. You're going to need this.
Which, yeah, I mean, that's a great point because obviously we want you guys going to the contract classes. That's where you're going to learn really the forms that you need.
Mm-hmm.
But until you can get through every form in contracts class, because it does take a few months. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
honest, right? There's a lot of forms that Jen
There's a
rocks,
lot, yeah.
and the rest of the teaching team, the leadership. But the big thing that when the compliance comes at you and they write at Robert Vincent, hey Robert, you need a condo rider, right?
Mm-hmm.
The time not to do that is after it closed
Yeah.
because trying to get buyers and sellers to sign up is really hard. And now we have a disclosure issue.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So then now
Yep.
you get the call from me and Jen saying, well, you can't do that because that states how much, for instance, that form states what the condo association fees are and or if there's a special assessment, meaning a
Mm-hmm.
big bill coming up. If you
Yep.
didn't disclose that and they closed, now we're in some hot water.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just know what forms to do. Raise your hand, reach out, email, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We're all here to help you guys. Like I tell people, keep the bobbers in the water. When you get a fish, pull the rod and we'll help you reel it in. Like that's just it's kind of that easy.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so one of the other topics, of course, this month, the entire month, is so that one time at Command Camp, and the entire month we're focusing on command. And when we started talking on Monday, we started talking about the health score of your contacts within your database, and of course that has to do with the email address, the phone number, the address, the physical address, all of the different components that make up a complete health score. But one of the things that we also want to remember is that inside of a contact is where we begin the contract process or the opportunity or the transaction, whatever you want to call the process of beginning the actual work. And one of the things that I do see a lot of people still get a little bit confused on is they'll go into command and they will begin an opportunity from the opportunities tab or the opportunities applet inside of command instead of going to a contact first. And I've been preaching, and I've noticed that over time, actually even KWRI on their answers.com, answers.kw.com site, if you go there and you look at the recommended procedure to initiate an opportunity, they no longer say to you, okay, so first enter your contact and then leave the contact area and go to the opportunities area and click new opportunity. They don't even talk about it like that anymore because it's actually a waste of time and it also could introduce errors. So I wanted to bring something to everyone's attention here. Again, I always preach this and I always talk about this in any of the classes that I do that involve opportunities. And that is when you have created your contact, or even if the contact already exists in your database and you're about to say, okay, now I need to create an opportunity. The best way to do it is to go to the contact itself. Robert Vincent, open up the contact card, look at all the information on the contact card and make sure that you have as much information as possible. You're about to initiate an opportunity, and the information that is in the contact is going to be transferred to the opportunity, and by that nature transferred to DocuSign for the information that fills out the documents. So DocuSign itself takes the information from the opportunity. The opportunity takes its information from the contact. So if we start at the contact and we make sure that we have all the correct information there, then from within the contact, you go to the opportunities tab and create the opportunity. One of the biggest benefits of just that one step is that when you create the opportunity, the system already knows who the opportunity is for because you're creating it from the contact. And then you have the option to add co-buyers, co-sellers, or whatever the second party. And if you created related contacts, then it's going to know who those related contacts are that you can pick from. And then when you create the opportunity, you're able to see the opportunity right next to the actual contact on the contact card itself. You can open the opportunity and then complete the information on the details tab of the opportunity. Why is that? We want to create the complete detail page before we create the document process, before we create our DocuSign room. Once again, DocuSign takes everything that it needs from the opportunities detail page and it takes it from the contact. As a matter of fact, I want to bring something up and show you. Now, I know this isn't a class, but something new happened this past week that I think you guys are going to absolutely love. I'm going to kind of talk while I bring this up here. Jason, when you are seeing people creating contacts, what are some of the initial mistakes that people tend to make as I bring this up here?
I would say the first thing that we're noticing is that if you have a listing, they're using the owner's name. Everything we do here is address driven. So that way, and the reason why is if somebody calls the front desk and says, I want information on 123 Main Street, we don't know that Robert Vincent owns 123 Main Street. So that's like the biggest thing that we get as far as, the front desk trying to find the right agent to send the calls to, and or when someone comes to us with a question and we have to look it up. Like that's the issue. The other issue that we're still kind of facing is, I would say, versions.
Absolutely, versions. I made a video on that. And
the video is amazing.
We need to start, like reposting that. I'll actually talk with Colin and see if we can get that reposted. Maybe, at least once a month, we'll just repost the video to bring it back up to the top of the feed to remind people of that. So let me show you here.
Okay,
on the let's see if I got the right screen there. I think so. NDI, is that the right one? Oh no, he's going crazy here. Let me switch this over and put the right. Everybody's like zippity doo. There we go. All right, so Oh my gosh, this is going all over the place. Okay, there we go. So here is a contact card, and what I've got here is just like Jason said, the opportunity that's been created here is Jackie Astuto, 123 Main Street, Epping. So the full address is actually in the name of the opportunity. And when we click on the opportunity, this is what I want to show you. This is brand new. This came out this week, and I started noticing this, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. If you've been in here before, you probably recognize that this is the details tab. But did you notice here, the sync transaction button has now been moved to the details tab, which means all of you who are used to seeing it over here on the documents area, on the right next to the go to transaction button, it's no longer there. And the reason is because there was a lot of confusion on what the sync transaction button did. Everybody thought that the sync transaction button would actually bring all the documents from DocuSign and automatically synchronize them into the right places. And that's not what it does. What the sync transaction button does is it synchronizes the information from the details page to DocuSign for all of the documents. And it makes more sense now because you can see they've even added information to tell you what has been synchronized across from Command to DocuSign. And this is why it's so important to have this information on the details page filled out as completely as possible, because that's what's used to create the pre-tagged roles in Command to make, in DocuSign to make this entire process go faster and smoother for you. Now, for those of you who are looking at me going, what the heck is a pre-tagged role? Why do I need this information? Why can't I just go ahead and quickly go into DocuSign outside of Command and do my work? My answer to you is, how much time do you want to waste? It's a question. Seriously, how much time do you want to waste going outside of Command, doing all this work redundantly over and over and over, and then come back in here and go, oh, still got to do this, still got to do that? I guarantee you, if you fill out the contact information fully, the details information fully one time, I promise you that your DocuSign process will go super duper smooth. I promise you.
Yeah, I mean,
I promise.
right through offers, commission tabs. I mean, 100% all the way through that whole program.
All the way through. It makes it so much easier. A lot of people, I totally understand, and I hear this a lot of time. Yeah, Robert, I'm so busy, I don't have time for that. Well, again, how much time do you have to repeat the process then? How much time do you have to go back and redo it or fix it? That's always the kind of the trade, is like, we think initially it's faster, and it might feel that way, but at the end of the day, the process takes you longer because you have to redo stuff. This is the faster way to go.
Yeah, on that, I mean, I always go back to, like, for anybody that doesn't know, I played a lot of competitive hockey even after high school. And I remember a coach, right? I was a small fast forward, right? I was a goal scorer. So I remember a coach once saying to me, Jay, sometimes slow is faster.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's absolutely true.
Yeah, and I had to learn when to use my speed, when not to, right? But that's the same as here. Like, sometimes go be a little slower on the front end is way faster through the whole, to get into the closing table.
Yep.
You know, so slower is faster. I always remember that, and there are always times where I try to bring that up. I mean, that's come into play in my life in the business world. Back when I did explosives, slower is faster when you're messing with explosives. So, yep. It's the same here. The more you fill it on the front end, come towards the end, you're just it's click go, and it's just so much easier, right?
Yep. I love the idea. When I first was working with this system, I also thought, okay, what's the fastest way to get to getting into DocuSign and getting things done? And the more I worked in DocuSign, the more I realized that this was, by bypassing the first few rungs of the ladder, I was up in the middle of the ladder, wasting time and spending a lot of time there. And I wasn't able to get to the finish line because it was taking redundant work. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. And then I go back through and I started talking with a bunch of MCTTs and the RTTs. And I'm like, there is a better way. And the better way is to slow down, do it once, and then the whole thing flies by.
And if you're at the position where you don't have time to do it because you're so busy, I mean, maybe that's the time you start thinking about leverage.
Yeah.
And that's that's a great conversation that you can have with Tim, because everyone's number of where leverage is different
Mm-hmm.
depending on your price point. But if
Sure.
you're just so busy where you can't get the paperwork, done faster or correct, that's the time for leverage. Because I'm telling the agents now that it's never a problem until it's a problem, and it's a
Yeah.
problem when someone calls and we have to look it up and we don't have the paperwork we need for
Mm-hmm.
certain things. You know what I mean? So slow is faster, and it's never a problem until it's a problem. Like
Yeah.
those are some serious words to live by in this business. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I love Command. I was not a fan of it when it first came. I was a fan when it first came out, and I didn't. And then the last probably 9 months while I was in production, I think it's the best thing going. I've seen all the other ones. I've seen Top Producer and Brivity and all the rest of them. And
Mm-hmm.
Command is if you're at Keller Williams, it's everything we do here.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It really is. Yeah, I got to tell you, one of the things that I love about talking with all the different agents is, and I'm going to toot my own horn. I'm actually going to say this. Okay. So I don't normally kind of brag or anything like that. But one of the things that I am excited about having been able to do for Keller Williams here at Market Center 463 is exposing people who didn't particularly like the program or didn't use the program, exposing them to how much it's improved. It's a thrill for me to be able to say to somebody who says, "Oh, I have problems with it," and my question is like, "What's your problem? What's going on? What's not working?" Guess what? That's been fixed. Not only has it been fixed, it's been improved because of the feedback that they received from people like you who were upset with it. Come back. Come back and try again and look at it and let me help you. Let me help you understand how it works better for you. And let's get rid of the frustration. Let me show you the path that you can walk down. I will be your guide. And then I guarantee you, people will, your life will be a little bit easier. And when I do this, all of the agents are very excited about me being able to show them that this is the best way to do it. And while it's not perfect, Tim is always saying that. He's always referring to the fact that it is a work in progress. That's kind of a good thing, because if it was done and it was the way it is today and that's the way they left it, then eventually people will be like, well, it's not getting better. Why should I bother? But it is getting
That's
better.
like everything, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we're not using the same Apple. We're not using the same iPhone we were using 20 years ago. It's better.
Yeah, it's better. It's improving. And the best part is it's improving right under your noses. Every week we get an update on the very front page, the home page of Command. When you log in, it says recent updates and it tells you what's happened. And the little thing that I just showed you a minute ago, that happened this week. It actually kind of poked its head up last week. And then it's fully implemented now this week, and that just the knowledge of knowing the feedback from the system. This is what's been synchronized. This is where you synchronize it. Fill this data out, and we can make your process easier. I love that, and they're really working. And I keep going back to saying that when Gary said in February, we're going to take 66 days and we're going to do a better job. He's still doing it. A couple of new features have crept in, but a lot of the things that we're seeing really are productivity improvements based on the feedback. So it's really exciting. So, okay. So we covered a lot of ground today here. Of course, I'm going to remind you guys once again that we have the backpack drive going on, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Sue, to reach out to Michael's team, reach out to anybody here if you have any questions, and we're happy to help you out with that to kind of make sure that you have the answers that you need. And it's a good thing to do. So get out there and do that. We got the contracts classes coming up. We got the open lab today. We got tomorrow. We got night school. Everything's going on. Any questions? Reach out to us. We can help you out. Jason, what do you got going today? Anything fun?
No, we got contracts class, and then tomorrow we have back to basics buyer agency with Jen. That's going to be a good one.
Okay, so I want you to start planning our lunch the next time I come up there. So let's talk about the important things. So plan the lunch. Okay. So that we can go and sit down someplace. All right. So that's it for today, you guys. Have an awesome day. I hope you be well, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.